Hey guys, today we're reviewing one-step inequalities. One-step inequalities are just like one-step equations. You're going to use inverse or opposite operations to solve them. When you're adding and subtracting, you're using the zero pairs method to isolate the variable. When you're multiplying and dividing, you're creating a 1 to isolate the variable. The only thing that's different about inequalities is that you have to know what causes the inequality to change direction. That's the only difference between inequalities and equations. All right, example 1. This is a one-step inequality. Now take a look. X and 10 are separated by addition. So the original operation is addition. So let's think about it. What is the inverse of addition? That would be subtraction. So we're going to go ahead and subtract 10 from each side. We know that 10 is the number that we need to subtract because 10 is the number that is keeping x from being isolated, keeping x from being alone. So that's what we're trying to get rid of. Whatever you do to the left side, we're going to have to do to the right side to maintain equality, keep both sides equal. On the left side, we create a zero pair. So I'm trying to draw a 0. Does that look like a 0 to you? And then I'll cross it out because negative 10 plus 10 gives you 0. On the right side, the rule is that the signs are the same, so you add them together, and we get negative 19. We're reviewing our addition rules. Then we bring down the inequality. Now, the question is, did we do that properly? Does the inequality stay the same, or do we flip directions? Look down here. I've written out for you, remember, dividing or multiplying both sides by a negative number flips the inequality direction. Well, we did not divide or multiply, so we are free and clear. We did not have to flip the inequality. So our final answer is x is less than negative 19. All right, next example. Now this is a tricky one. In between the x and the 3, I see an addition sign. Now that doesn't mean the original operation is addition, it just means that either it's going to be addition or subtraction. To determine whether I'm going to add or subtract, I have to actually examine the problem number, or the number keeping x from being alone. I have to look on the left side of it. On the left side, I see a negative symbol. So the original operation is actually subtraction. And then the inverse operation is addition. So I have to add 3 to both sides to make that negative 3 essentially disappear. On the left side, negative 3 plus 3 is a 0 pair. So I'm trying to make that look like a 0. That disappears and we're left with x. Negative 10 plus 3, signs are different, so you subtract. 10 minus 3 is 7. And we have more negatives than positives, so our answer is going to be negative 7. Now, do I flip the inequality or not? Remember, dividing or multiplying both sides by a negative, we can just stop there. We did not divide, we did not multiply, we added. So we do not flip the inequality. When you add or subtract from both sides, you don't flip the inequality. So our final answer is x is greater than negative 7. Next example. X and negative 5 are separated by division. The inverse of division is multiplication. Now the question I have for you is, do you multiply by negative 12 or do you multiply by negative 5? And the answer to that is you multiply by negative 5. Because negative 5 is the number that is on the left side with the x. It is the number that is keeping the x from being alone. We're trying to isolate x. If I write negative 5 times a fraction, I need to write negative 5 as a fraction as well. On this side, when I multiply by negative 5, I don't have to write it as a fraction because I'm multiplying it by an integer. Over here, that equals 1. Negative 5 divided by negative 5 equals 1. I hope that looks like a 1 to you. So I get 1x. And then on the other side, negative times a negative is a positive. So I get a positive 60. Now, do I flip the inequality? Well, it says down here, dividing or multiplying both sides by a negative number flips the inequality direction. I multiplied both sides by a negative number, so it does flip the direction of the inequality. So my final answer is x is greater than or equal to 60.